my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is Oliver Brinker, and today we are going to review the latest installment of the Saw franchise, Spiral, from the Book of Saw. This movie is directed by Lynn, Bousman, and stars Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. Detective Zeke, played by Chris Rock, goes out on an investigation of the murders of different cops in the States because there is a copycat of one of the famous serial killers of all time movie history, Jigsaw. Now, when it comes to the Saw franchise, in my opinion, I'm not a huge fan of. If you watch my review of Jigsaw, I basically explained most of the Saw movies that I like and dislike. Of course, I like the first Saw movie and even the second one, but the rest of the movies I'm not a huge influence on. So, of course, I was not that intrigued or anticipated for Spiral from the Book of Saw. I was interested in Chris Rock taking on this project because he did do the story for this movie, but the trailers just look kind of generic and looks like it's going to be like every other Saw movie. But I'm still kind of interested to see what Chris Rock does with this film because he did inspire the story for this film because he's a huge Saw fan, and also Samuel L. Jackson in this film. Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson in a Saw movie. Very odd casting. So at the same time, even though I wasn't excited for this film, I was still interested to see what these two people can do for this film. So, despite all the negative reviews, I tried to go in this movie with my own personal opinion. Now, this is a bright example of me expressing my own opinion for this film, despite all the negative reviews. Guys, I think Spiral from the Book of Saw is the best Saw movie since the first Saw. I'm not even kidding. I actually really like Spiral from the Book of Saw. Does this movie have issues? Absolutely. This film isn't a masterpiece or anything. I still think the first Saw was heaps better than this film. But from the other Saw movies, which I'm not a huge fan of, this is a big surprise for me. I never enjoyed a Saw movie since the second movie. That's really surprising for me. I think the best thing about this movie is Chris Rock's storytelling in this film. You can tell how passionate he was throughout this film because, like I said before, he is a huge Saw fan. So of course you can see how big of a fan he is because there are some Easter eggs from the original Saw movies and there are some originality with his writing in this film. I think Chris Rock did a really good job in this movie. I think his performance was really great. His character of Detective Zeke, you root for this character. You see his character's backstories and all that stuff and you felt very invested in Zeke's character, and I think Chris Rock for the most part did a great performance, even though at times he was going a bit predictable with his performance. But the most part, I like Chris Rock in this film, and I like how passionate he was throughout this film. You can see his own vision to life, and I really liked his vision. I think his vision was very interesting. Coming from a guy that really likes crime investigation movies, this movie is all about that, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the film. It never bored me. I find this movie from start to finish with the whole story quite entertaining. I was really invested. I was really curious to see what happens in the film. Samuel L. Jackson. Now, if you're here to expect a lot of Samuel L. Jackson in the film, you're not going to get that. He wasn't much in the film. But when he was in the film, whatever scene he is in, he was great. Because he's Samuel L. Jackson. You know, whenever you see Samuel L. Jackson in a movie, his screen presence, his acting, you just like him the whole way through. Even though it is a bad movie, Samuel L. Jackson will always be the best part of these movies. And Spiral, no difference. I think Samuel L. Jackson does a great job in this movie as Chris Rock's dad in the film. I really liked his character in the film. Even though he wasn't much in the movie, I still think he did a really good job in the film. But you guys know what you're waiting for. How are the traps in this movie? Yes, everyone loves the Saw movies because of the trap scenes, and I'm not going to lie, even though I'm not a fan of the Saw movies, the traps in these movies are the most enjoyable aspects. Now, what do I think of the traps in this movie? One way to describe it, brutal. The traps in this movie are full on. Like, this is a radar movie. This movie upstages the violence in every way. The traps in this movie, I literally couldn't watch them. They're so graphic. There are moments in the trap scenes where I'm just like, God, it's gonna hurt. But I enjoyed the trap scenes because of that. I love how graphic this movie is. I love how violent this movie is. And I love how full on it is. And especially that the traps gets more interesting throughout the movie. The opening scene especially was full on. It's so hard to watch. And there's a trap scene that's involved with a finger that I'm not going to spoil. That's also really, really full on. This movie knows what to do with the violence. If you don't like those movies, you gotta really not like this movie, because this movie is freaking brutal. But of course, this film does have issues. It does have some of the same issues that I have with the other Saw movies. One of them is that this movie is very predictable. There is a lot of aspects inspired from the Book of Saw where I'm like, okay, I knew what's coming. Especially the twist in this film. Like the other Saw movies, there are twists in the film. This movie's twist, I'm not going to spoil, obviously, but the twist in the movie, I knew what's coming. And the point of a movie twist is that you're supposed to not know what's coming. You're supposed to be like, okay, what's going to happen? But this movie's twist, I'm like, okay, I know what's happening. I know what's going to happen, and throughout the end of the movie, I'm like, I knew it. But I gotta say, for the most part, I really enjoyed Spiral from the Book of Saw. Definitely, in my opinion, the best Saw movie since the first movie. It's not great or anything. It's definitely not the best horror film that I've seen this year. It is predictable throughout the most part. But the whole investigation aspect and Chris Rock's vision of this film was very investing. I really enjoyed Chris Rock in this movie. I love his vision of this film. Samuel L. Jackson was great. The traps in this movie are brutal as hell, and that's the best part about Spiral from the Book of Saw. Overall, I'm so surprised that I actually did enjoy Spiral from the Book of Saw, and I'm definitely going to watch this movie again to watch it on Halloween. I will watch this movie with the first Saw movie. I'm going to give Spiral from the Book of Saw a B-. So guys, that is my review for Spiral from the Book of Saw. Let me know what you think of this movie in the comments below. Do you like the movie, hate the movie, or you thought it's okay? Just let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below, Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. Keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notified for my latest movie reviews, and have a nice day.